It'll just be for about 5-10 minutes. Okay, let's start this. I'm going to start the recording. Okay, so this is OET language. Yesterday, we looked at present perfect, and I tried to sort of introduce some of the most important meanings of present perfect, the ones you need for OET. Not every single meaning, but most of them, okay? Now, today, we're going to look at the passive, so we'll bring that into play as well, but we'll start off, as usual, guys, with a quick game. The game is a warm-up game. It's a grammar game, and it's, of course, very, very important. According to me, the game is you tell me, is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective? Okay. So if I say, for example, something like, I don't know, doctor, you say?
No.
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 Okay. If I say medicine, is that a noun?
No.
No.
Also a noun. Yeah, it's what we call abstract noun, I guess. Okay, what about if I say treat?
Verb.
Now this is a game, so you have to be it's the fastest person. So Rima, you won that one. You were very quick there. Just tell me, is it a verb? Is it a noun? Is it an adjective, etc.? Okay, what about this? Hungry. Oops.
Adjective.
Adjective. I didn't see who won that one. What about this one? The.
Article.
Again, so two, according to me. What about this one? How about overweight? You might use that in OET.
Adjective.
Adjective. Again, Alexi, well done. Rima, though, I think won that one as well. What about something like in?
Preposition.
Khalid, I think you were the first one that Khalid. That was Khalid. According to Zoom, his name came up first. Okay, what about something like, you always see this in OET, something like visit.
Verb.
Now, this is the verb, but also
Yeah, no.
look, it's a noun, isn't it? So you might say, he came to me for a visit.
For a visit, yeah.
You can use it as a noun. Okay, so it's both. Alexi, is this a regular verb or irregular verb?
Regular.
So that means the past tense would be
Visited.
and the past participle would be
Visiting.
Okay, what about something like this? Admission.
No.
Of course, noun. Okay. What about something like IV?
Adjective. Yeah. Yeah,
It can be both. Sometimes we say IV.
Maybe.
Here it's a bit like an adjective, isn't it? It's a bit like an adjective.
True.
It's still a noun. It's still a noun, actually, but we can use it very often like an adjective. Okay. All right, here's a difficult one that maybe you guys don't know. What is that?
Possessive pronoun.
Demonstrative pronoun.
Yeah.
Pronouns, I think, yeah, pronoun, yes.
The pronoun.
I would say this is an indicative, Norzad. You could probably call it a demonstrative pronoun as well, but usually this is called indicative. What does it mean, indicative?
Pointing out something.
Right, yeah. Pointing
I
out.
can say this car, right? This car. That's not a pronoun here. It's an indicative. Okay, one more, and then we'll start this class. I was going to say match then. It's not a match. Okay, what about something like and? Simple.
And is a
Conjunction.
Now, I always play this game at the
Link,
start.
it's a link.
Yeah, it's a conjunction. I always play this game at the start because one of the most common, we're studying grammar, okay? We're studying present perfect. But actually, one of the most common errors students make is just making mistakes with verbs and noun forms, just confusing those things, okay? So that is actually a very important game. But today we're going to look at present perfect in the passive. We really have to look at the passive today because we use the passive all the time in OET, okay? So we're going to start with a review. Then we'll look at the passive, and then we'll write some sentences. And I might talk about, if we have time, I might talk about this problem of two objects. Okay, this is a problem in the passive. We might talk about this if we have time today. So this is the plan. Let's get started. Atik, can you say hello? Or Daniela? Or if we try Fio, can you say hello? Atik, Fio, Daniela?
Hello.
Hello, Daniela. Thank you, guys. Remember, if you can't talk today, you've got to let me know in the chat box. Just to remind you, let us know if you can't talk. It's really important. So, Daniela, what did we say is present perfect yesterday? What was the answer to this question yesterday? Do you
It's
remember?
a tense which,
It is a
well,
tense.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a tense first.
So
And
examples of tenses. Give examples of tenses.
past simple, past
Yes,
continuous,
simple,
present
continuous,
simple.
future, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it's a tense. Present perfect is a present tense. And what's the meaning?
The meaning is an action which is in the past but is affecting the present.
So past affecting, let's say connected
Connected.
to present. Okay. Does everyone agree with this? Is she right, guys?
Yes.
She is right. It's well remembered. Okay. So in general, present perfect is connecting the past and the present. What about this though? Aurelia, is this a present tense or is it a past tense? Is it a present tense or a past tense? Aurelia? Anyone want to help her?
Present tense.
It's a present tense, okay? Even though we're talking about the past as well, the focus really is on the present moment, okay? Okay, so we looked at the form as well yesterday. This is very easy, but we should review this because, again, you do see mistakes with this. Mrs. Jones has eaten a healthy meal today. This is present perfect. What is this, guys? What is Mr. Jones? Everyone, this is the
Subject.
subject. Khalid, what comes after the subject?
It's a verb.
What's this?
Has.
Has, have.
Now, yesterday, many of you were making mistakes with this.
Yeah.
Lots of you. Okay, so let's just, I know it's simple, but let's review it. Lucinda, why do I use have?
It's an auxiliary verb.
It's an auxiliary verb. And what's the difference between has and have?
Singular and plural.
Mohammed, if I'm just speaking to Lucinda, don't answer for her, please. Just wait. Lucinda, he said singular or plural. Is that right?
Yes, I think so.
So, for example, if I say Mr. Jones and Mrs. Green, do I need have or has now?
Has.
Which one? She's saying has. Is that right, guys?
Have.
No, have.
Have.
Uh,
We have.
So, Lucinda, how many subjects are there now? How many?
2.
2. So when there's 2 or more, we're going to use have. And when there's only 1, we use has. Does that make sense, everyone? This is called the third person singular.
Can we use they?
It's very easy to forget it, actually. Say that again.
They.
Well, let's try. If I say they, guys, that's the subject.
Have.
They have.
Yeah.
If I say it
Has.
It has.
Has.
So try not to forget this. This is called the third person singular. And you just need to think, is the subject in the third person, is it plural or is it singular? Okay. Here we'll say, let's go back to the original. Mrs. Jones has or have eaten. Eaten is verb 3. What is verb 3, Rima? What is that?
Past participle.
Yeah, past participle. So what is verb 1, Rima?
Verb 1, simple form of verb.
So eat. Yeah. What is verb 2? Everyone, what is verb 2?
Past verb.
Verb 2 is ate, right?
Eat.
And verb 3, we always say verb 3 is
Eaten.
eaten. Okay. So this is present perfect. This is how you make it. We also have the negative, which is here. Amir, if you want to say hello, or Ismail, Hussein. Where do I put the negative word here, Hussein, Ismail, or Khalid?
No.
We have subject.
Yeah.
When
We have or has.
Auxiliary, yeah.
And then what do we have here?
Negative.
The negative. Okay. So don't forget, guys, the not, this, goes in the middle of this and this. Hussein, can I say this? Mr. Jones not has.
No, we can't say.
Can I say Mr. Jones has eaten not today?
No, that's also not correct.
So try and remember, guys, it's always going in the middle of the auxiliary verb and verb 3. That's the negative. Okay, Lucinda, come back if it's okay. And Mandira, Ola?
Yes.
Is that the subject? Is that the subject of this sentence?
No.
No.
Mr. Jones is the subject.
So for a question, of course, we start with has, or we can start with have as well, right?
Yes.
And then we're going to have the subject. Then we're going to have verb 3 in the question. So has Mr. Jones eaten this morning? Now today, guys, we're going to study passive as well. Okay. So can anyone make this one into the passive? Mr. Jones has eaten today.
Has been.
Has been.
Has been.
Has been Mr. John.
Say
The
that
meal
again.
has been eaten by Mr. Jones.
Has been.
Yeah, good. Now, Rima, do you just want to say that again slowly? Mr. Jones has
Mr. Jones has been eaten.
been eaten. Okay. So this is what we're studying today, guys. We're using the passive. Look how it changes. Been. Now, Rima, what is the meaning of this? How does the meaning change when I say has been eaten?
Has been eaten. Action.
Can we say Mr. John has been eaten?
Eating like this.
Eating is okay. So has
No,
been
it is
eaten
wrong.
like Mr. John has been eaten.
If we do this,
Mr. John was eaten by someone else. It is wrong.
Yeah.
Nozad, can you try not to interrupt? Nozad, please don't interrupt. Okay, I'm talking to Hasina. So, Hasina, if you do this one,
Yeah.
this is a different tense. It's not present perfect. Okay.
Yeah,
What
I know. Yeah.
tense, guys, everyone, what tense is it?
Present perfect continuous tense.
Continuous present perfect.
So we're
It
not
is,
focusing on
yeah,
that.
it is perfect continuous.
Yeah.
Has been eaten.
We're not focusing on that today, Hasina. So let's not talk.
Yeah, sorry. I was just saying Mr. John has been eaten. It means Mr. John has been eaten by someone.
Hasina,
Yeah.
I was going to ask you that, and then you interrupted me. That's right. I was
Okay,
going to
sorry.
say, what does it mean? This
Sorry.
one means that Mr. Jones has been eaten, for example, by a lion. Okay? So it really changes the meaning, and we will study this today. But the passive is changing the meaning quite a lot. You can see here, is Mr. Jones going to survive this? Is he going to be maybe killed? Yes, right? It's really changing the meaning. We're going to study this today, so don't worry, we'll come back to this, but I want to continue reviewing now. Let's continue reviewing. What was the danger from yesterday that I told you about? Beck, can you say hello? Or put your hands up, guys, if you know the danger from yesterday. Ismail, there's a big danger.
The danger, I had that mistake yesterday, and the danger is that it's not possible to use the ago, last, in this past expression, time expression. Ago, yesterday, in 1990.
Yeah, in 1997. Can anyone else give us examples? Ago, yesterday, on the 19th of June, in 1997. What else?
Yeah, we can use them in past
Ago.
2 days
ago. Anything else we cannot use, guys?
Last week.
Over the period.
Last week.
Over the period. Over the period.
Over the period. He has been eaten. I'm not sure about that one. Over. I could say I have studied over a 10-month period. You can say that, okay?
Last century.
We cannot use specific time like this with present perfect. It's really,
What about before?
I think possibly not before as well. It's really, really important that we remember this. This is a very, very common error in OET writing. Nurses and doctors will write like this. They'll say, on 19th of June, Mr. Jones has been, admitted to hospital. That is 100% wrong, because we cannot use these kinds of words, these specific timestamps with present perfect, okay? So I want you guys to try and remember that. It's really, really important, okay? Now, the meaning of present perfect, we said, is past connected to present. But really, what does that mean? What does it mean? Well, yesterday I gave you more specific meanings. Let's review now the more specific meanings of present perfect. Okay, so Elena, could you say hello? or Khalida. Do you remember that yesterday I told you, okay, it's past related to present.
Yeah.
But there's that means fundamentally two things. Do you remember what we said yesterday?
Yes. Finished action and unfinished action.
Okay, so is that right, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So there's an unfinished present perfect.
Yes.
And there is a finished present perfect. Okay. Both of them are past connected to now. Okay, so that is still correct, but one is unfinished and one is finished. Let's look at the finished one. Hasina, Jamuna, can you give me an example of present perfect where it is unfinished? Do you remember from yesterday? Or Gula?
Yes, unfinished, like
What can you say? What's
I have visited Japan.
I have done my homework.
Okay, if I have done my homework, is that unfinished?
It's finished. Finished action.
I think it was the use of
finished action.
since and for.
Yeah, thank you, Hasina. Guys, to make it unfinished, we need to use since and for. Okay, we need to use since and for. So Hasina, give me an example with since, please. Since.
Like I have been.
She has a experience in
I have
the
lived here
One
since.
second, Hasina, so just stop for a second. Mohammed, Norzan, don't talk over other students. We're in Zoom and we can't all talk at the same time, all right? In a normal class, we could do that, but please don't interrupt Hasina, okay? Hasina, go on. I have
lived here.
I've lived here
since 2021.
Okay, everyone, is she right? Is this unfinished? She's right,
Yes.
isn't she? This is
Yes.
Yes, right.
And I think yesterday we said this is the meaning of this is the starting date or the starting point. Hussein, you said this yesterday, the starting date, right?
Yes.
So for example, Hussein, how long have you lived in the UK?
1.5 years.
So you would say since 2021, is it?
Yeah, 2022.
22, okay. So starting point, this is the starting point of Hussein's living in the UK, and it's unfinished. He's still there. He's still in the UK now, okay. Hussein, we can say starting point, or we can say length of time.
Length of time, yes.
Can you give me an example here, Hussein? I have lived here.
I have lived here for 1.5 years.
So 1.5 years, whatever it is, let's just say 2 years for this thing, okay? So I think this is an easy one, guys. In this meaning, we're talking about duration. What does duration mean? Mohammed, if you come and answer, Mohammed, or we could ask Hamza.
Period, specific period.
A period. Thank you, sir, right? A length of time, a length of time, okay? So I think this one is clear. This is the one that usually confuses people. So Gaida, I remember yesterday you were a little bit...
I was.
Not confused, but you just, some of it was...
It's just, I have to
Don't worry,
clarify.
everyone-
Yeah, finished. It's recent action, you can say, and life experience.
Let's do the life experience one, okay? So
Yeah,
tell me something about you that's very important in your life.
about me. I have visited, Switzerland.
Oh, really? What was it like?
Or Zurich, I can say Zurich.
Zurich, okay. So this is like a life experience, something important for you, right? Yeah. You could even say, I have had children. I guess that's important, isn't it? I have had children. I'm not saying you, I don't know if you do or don't, but guys, in general, this would be a life experience, okay? In OET, we might say, what would we say? We might say, Mr. Green, maybe he's been in a war or he has a serious life experience. What kind of life experiences might we talk about in OET? Mr. Green has...
Accident.
Health.
All accident. Surgery.
Can we talk job?
Life experience.
Experience it with the cancer, maybe we can say, or with the pain.
Cancer, history of
illness or
It's not like that. We're not focusing on medical things. If you're talking about medical things, that's something else. Look, I could say he has fought in a war. Okay? This is an important life experience. So we would use present perfect. It's not very common to use this in OET, actually. But what we're saying is it was an important experience in your life. Not having an accident. That would be something else. Okay? This is a medical exam. So that's not what we're talking about. Okay? We also said, does anyone remember the first one? What was the first
recent action news?
A recent action.
A recent.
So you might say, Lucinda, give me an action that you did 5 minutes ago or 1 hour ago. Okay. I have just drunk a cup of tea. Okay. And in this meaning, we're just saying, guys, that it happened a very short time ago. Is that clear, guys?
Yes.
Clear for everyone? We could say, let's do it for OET. For OET, you might say, Mr. Green has just, right? We use just. Has just what? Give me an example.
Passed away.
appointment.
Passed away.
Passed away, yeah. Oh, Khalid, very sad. But yeah, you might say that. Mr. Green has just passed away. He's just fallen down, maybe. It happened just now.
Has had a heart attack a few minutes ago.
If you're doing OET speaking, you might say the operation has just been cancelled. Right? You might be talking to a patient, cancelling the operation. Okay? So notice this is the passive now. We're using the passive, and we'll talk about that today. Let's just say Mr. Green has just fallen down. It happened recently, very, 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 very recently. Okay, so we're using present perfect. Okay, what about this one? Does anyone remember this one? Norzad, you were asking me about this yesterday, and I was saying it's this one. Does anyone remember this?
Inside the time period.
Time period. Okay, inside. Okay, can you give me an example? Put your hands up if you can give me an example. Gaida, for example. Gertrude.
Time period.
Mrs. Jones.
Okay. Mr. Jones has, let's see, has suffered from.
Now, I'm sorry, Gaida, but for some reason, OET.
From macular degeneration.
I'm just going to mute you there for 1 second, Gaida. For some reason, do OET like this verb, everyone?
No.
No. According to OET, I don't agree with this actually, but they don't like this verb, Gaida. So just say experienced. Okay.
Yeah. And
go on.
Experience with MD during 5 years, or we can say that, or since 19 something.
Yeah, no, that's here. That's here. Okay. Yeah. So the phrase you'll use, Gaida, is this morning. Right, so we might say Mrs. Jones has experienced 2 headaches this morning. Okay.
Plural vision.
So not
this morning.
Not for.
Okay, plural vision this morning. We can have suddenly plural vision.
Plural vision. I want to say has experienced plural vision. Okay. I'm going to say 2 headaches though. The reason is, guys, this one, it is inside an unfinished time period. So is the morning finished, guys? Is that finished?
Not yet.
No. Okay, so that's the idea. But also, Norzad, you will notice, this is what I said yesterday, Norzad, often multiple events here. And there's also the suggestion that it might happen again. Okay, so it might, not always though, but it might happen again. If I say, Mrs. Jones has experienced 2 headaches this morning, do we think that maybe she will have another headache?
Maybe.
Possibly, yes. Possibly.
When you use present perfect like this, you can suggest that it might continue as well. Okay. So let me just finish this review and then we'll start to look at the passive, guys. What was the final one? This is the most important one.
Present result.
And Nozad, Khalid.
Present result.
Present result.
Yeah, present result.
Okay. This is the one that for me is the most important in OET. All right, it's the present result. What does that mean? Yesterday, I told you it means this. A past action has consequences in the present moment. Okay? So remember, the past is connected to now. How? Well, a past action has consequences in the present moment. What does that mean, Rima? Consequence. What does that mean? A consequence.
Result.
A result. We could say a result. Okay. So a very good example of this would be if I say,
I just
I have broken my leg.
well, I have closed the window. This is an easy one to see. I have closed the window. What's the result of that?
It's still
It's coming still is
Close.
Right? So someone might say, did you close the window before we went out? Now, why would you ask that question? If you ask that question, what are you thinking?
confirm.
You're worried, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
safety.
safety. Maybe someone can get into my house and the person can say, oh, I have closed the window. Okay, so this is the result of a previous action. This is very common in OET. Okay, so in OET, we might say, Mrs. Green, put your hand up if you can remember the example that I gave yesterday about Mrs. Green. Or Lucinda, you want to try this? Or we could have Abigail. Let's have Abigail. Can you try?
Yes, yeah. Mrs. Green has broken her leg.
Okay, so you just might say, Mrs. Green has broken her leg. And what do we mean? What's the result?
You cannot walk.
She can't walk now, right? So we're trying to say about now, we're trying to say she can't walk now. You get that? And I'm putting this in red because really this is the most important one for you.
Has broken.
Has broken, sir.
Sorry, it has broken. Thank you. Okay, so that's a long review, but I think a necessary review. Put your hands down if you don't have questions, but put your hands up if you have any questions, because we're going to now look at the passive. Okay, but I want to make sure everyone's happy. Put your hand up, please, if you've got any questions on this. Mandira, go on, Mandira.
Alan, so we can sometimes write like she has hypertension. So which one is like more natural and sounds better? Or she has had hypertension, or she has hypertension?
Well, now this is important, guys. If I use this, she has hypertension. What does it mean? What does this verb mean, guys?
Present continuous.
Yeah, still.
Still have.
Continuous, right? So this one, I think she knows this. Mandira knows this. This is present continuous.
Yeah, but
sorry, present simple. So in that, why do we use present simple? We already studied this. Fatima, why?
No. Sorry, my question hasn't finished yet. Especially when we write a letter, we write on background, and we mention like she has hypertension or she has had hypertension, because I usually write she has hypertension. So which one would be better? Yes.
Now, Mandira,
yes.
If I don't say since, and if I don't say for, is it finished or is it unfinished?
Unfinished.
If I don't say.
No, if you don't say it is finished.
Okay, so are you trying to say that she doesn't have hypertension now? That's the difference.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't have it now, you can say this. But usually she does still have it. So you're going to say that one.
Oh,
so Mandira, that's wrong. This one equals finished. She doesn't.
Oh, right. Okay, I got it now.
So that's a very, very good question. Thank you, Mandira.
I was really confused about it. Okay, thank you.
If the condition is now finished, you could use present perfect like this. If it's not finished, use present simple. It's still a fact. It's a fact about her. Okay. All right. Any other questions? That was a great question. Thank you, Mandira. Fatima, I think you've got a question. Habib?
Hello. Yeah, I have a question. Can we say Mr. Green has presented at the office today?
Okay, let's have a look at this. Mr. Green has presented at the office today. We can. So what's your question though? Yes, you can.
Yeah, okay. Because today in the inside time period, and we can use, okay, sometimes I'm confused.
Yeah, you can use it with today. You can definitely look, I have eaten a sandwich today. I've eaten today. You can use it. Also, you can use it currently. You can say, well, not currently. You can say recently, I have eaten some food. That's okay. You can say today. That's okay. Can you say this though? Currently.
No.
The answer is no, guys. You cannot use currently. Okay. You can use today. You can use recently, but not currently. Does that make sense, everyone?
Yes.
That's a very good question because often students are making that mistake. Okay.
Yeah, but Alan, we use for medication. Currently, she is in this medication.
Yeah, but then we're not using present perfect, right? Currently.
Yeah, we are not using this. Yeah.
Is on. That would be the present simple. Great
simple
question.
form. Yeah.
Yeah. Great questions, guys. Okay, now let's look at the passive. I was going to do passive later, but really, so much of this tense, we need to use the passive voice. Why? Why do we need to use the passive voice with present perfect in OET? Norza, this is a very difficult question. I will ask you, sir. Han, Mohammed, why do we need it for OET, the passive? Norzad, Han, Mohammed.
So we focus on the patient.
Answer, sir.
Okay, Han, go on. Say it again, Han. Sorry, Farouk. Go on, Han.
So we focus on the patient, not the doctor or nurse.
Yeah. When the patient is acting, Han, we can use the active, can't we? I can say Mrs. Green fell down. That's the active. If the patient is doing it, you can use the active voice. But if the doctor or the nurse is doing it, we've got to use passive. All right. So let's look at the passive. We haven't really looked at the passive. The meanings are the same. It's the same meanings, but we need to look specifically at the passive now. Okay. So let's have a look at the passive again. Mrs. Jones has eaten a healthy meal today. We already looked at this, but let's make it passive now. Okay. We already did this, but let's do it again. Aurelia, could you say hello?
Hi, Alan. Yes, I can, but I have a newborn here. He might be noisy. For this,
Don't
I put
worry.
it in the chat. So in the passive will be Mr. Jones has been eaten.
Being eaten. Okay. So here, is this the subject now, guys, or is it the object?
Object.
Object, I think.
Object.
Object. This is the object now. So we need to change this. This is not subject. This is object. Okay. And then what is this one? Has.
Auxiliary verb.
Yeah, the auxiliary. So again, it'll be have or has, auxiliary verb. And then what is this one, Khalid?
Which one?
B.
Then is that the
Past participle.
Past participle form.
Well, actually, it's always been, always.
Yeah,
So
it's with the passive verb, I think. Always coming.
It's not really the past participle, Khalid. Past participle is here.
No, it's like with the passive verb, there's a specific words like has been eaten or has been done something.
Exactly. We always use that, guys. We always use this. Okay.
This one is like I
Form
think
of the
also
B.
auxiliary.
Go on, Natik. Yes, sir.
Bin is also like has a auxiliary, play the role like auxiliary.
They are auxiliaries, but we're not going to change them, right? You're not going to say has eaten here, right? You'll never change it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Alan, third form of B.
Go on, Najibullah.
Third form of the B.
It is, but we're never going to change it, Najibullah, right? We'll never change that verb in the passive. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Can I change this one? Has been eaten, has been called, has been spoken.
Yes, main verb can
It
be
depends
changed.
on irregular or
Change this.
irregular verb.
Any V3 can be here. Anything. Can I change this?
No.
Never.
No.
Zero. No change. Never. Okay. So this is the positive. Okay, what about the negative? Mr. Jones has not
Been.
Been eaten.
been eaten. Okay, so it's exactly the same. What about has Mr. Jones
Been
eaten by.
eaten.
been? Okay, so we just put in this. It is a verb 3, but I'm just going to call it been. Okay, so this is the passive now. But what does it mean? What is the meaning of the passive? What does passive mean?
We shift the focus, Ellen.
Voice of the
From the subject to
person.
simple.
Just Khalid, go on, Khalid.
Yeah, we just shift the focus. For example, when action is being done by the subject, now we put the the receiver is the object. So now we put the receiver. The subject is the receiver is the like we just change the positions. Like receivers go to the place of action, or action goes to the place of receiver. So we just shift the focus from one person to another person.
I agree. So guys, let's do a quick example. I can say a lion has eaten Mr. Jones. Is that active or passive?
It's active.
Active, because here's the subject, and then we have auxiliary, right? So verb, and then we have verb, and then we have object. But then if we want to have passive, we can say Mr. Jones
has been eaten.
Was eaten.
Was eaten? Who said that?
No, has been eaten.
Has been
eaten.
We're just doing present perfect, okay? So present perfect, Mr. Jones has been eaten. Like that. Bye, guys. Bye.
With the line.
Boiler. So, Mohammed, where is the subject now? Where is the subject?
Submit Mr.
Line.
James. Mr. John.
Where is the object?
Mr. Jones.
Mr. John.
And then we have has been eaten. Okay. We're changing the object and the subject. And the reason we do this is to focus more on the patient.
Object.
The object. Nurses and doctors, very often you use the passive to talk about things that you do. Okay? Things that you do. So what do nurses and doctors do? A nurse they don't eat patients. What do they do?
Advice.
Advised. Okay.
So I care for the patient.
That would become Mr. Jones has been
advised by nurse.
Advised by a nurse. Now, Hussein, do I need that in OET?
No need.
So often in OET, guys, what we'll do is we'll delete the subject altogether and just use the passive. Okay. What if I want to make a negative? What's the negative?
Has not been.
Not. Okay. What if I want to make a question? Alexi.
Has Mr. John
Has
Mr. John been advised?
Has Mr. Jones
been advised?
Been advised.
Yes.
It sounds so natural when you put it in the passive. It sounds good. Okay. So this is what we're going to work on today, the passive voice. Okay. Now I want you to write some sentences, and then we'll talk about the meanings. I think it's time to quickly write some sentences. Is everyone ready to write some passive sentences here?
Yes.
Yes.
So I prepared these ones. Imagine these are case notes. Okay, case notes. And we have here, for example, Mrs. Jones diagnosed depression. Alexi, let's have this as a negative.
Yeah.
Let's have this as a negative to test you more. Could you make a passive for me here, Alexi? What would the passive?
Mr. John have
Jones?
not been diagnosed with depression.
And if we want, we could say by who?
By the psychiatric specialist.
Let's say by the specialist.
By the specialist, yeah.
But in OET, we would delete that. We wouldn't normally say this, okay? So guys, I want you to make me 4 passive sentences, please. And then I'll talk about, well, we'll probably finish this class. So just go to the chat box, please, and write 4 passive sentences. Try to make a question as well at the end. Okay, so number 2. So Khalid, using the present perfect. So has, not the past simple, Khalid. So try that one again. Everyone else, very, very nice. Hamza, Hussein, good stuff. We've got Alexi. I like it, Alexi, for his leg ulcer, adding in extra detail. Ola has been prescribed antibiotics. Mashal has been advised to do more exercise. Okay, there we go. It's easy, isn't it? But let's just practice. And then we'll talk about the meanings of this. Okay. Very good stuff. Keep going. Very good there, people who are writing the question already. Well done, Ipek. Some people on number 3, Hussein, Atik, good. Okay, good. I'm going to just delete this so I can ask a few questions here. Yeah, very nice, guys. Very nice. Okay. Khalid, you got this in capitals here, has been prescribed. There you go. Easy. Easy. Good stuff. And thank you. Someone is putting yet here. Yeah, we could put yet. Good. We'll talk about that. This is very, very good. Okay. Nice. We've had a chance to keep writing, keep going. Lots of you really nice. Khalida, Hamza, Elena, really good. Abigail, Ola, Lucinda, Aurelia, very nice. Bibi, Fio, Khalid, Habib, Mohammed, Najibullah, Fatima, Daniela, good. Okay, I don't see almost any errors here. Okay, good. All right, so let's just quickly go through the answers, and then I want to talk about what does it mean? What are the meanings here? Okay, so let's do this one together. Can I ask maybe Savinch? Can you say hello, Savinch?
Yes, I'm here. Mr. Green has been prescribed antibiotics.
Okay, antibiotics. Now, Alexi, you said something very nice. You said for his leg ulcer. That's nice. So you can add in extra details here. Okay, what about Ismail, please? Mr. Smith advised more exercise.
Yeah. Has Mr. Smith been advised more exercise?
Oh, so you're doing a question. Why not? Why not? Let's do it as a question. So has
Mr. Smith been advised?
Yeah, advised
more exercise?
This sounds good. Or you could also say, if you want, advised to do. You can put that in if you want. Thank you, Ismail. That was an interesting variation. I like that. Let's try Amoki, please, or if we could have Michelle.
Hello?
So what about this one?
Hello. Miss White has been given a booklet to read.
Given a booklet to read. Very, very nice. And what about number 5? Let's have Mohammed, one of the Mohammeds. I know there's a few. Could you say hello, one of the Mohammeds? Mohammed Riaz? Or
yes, Mr.
Go on.
Mr. Green has not intubated.
Mr. Green has not been intubated.
Yeah, you forgot. Don't forget this one. Say it again, sir.
Yeah.
Has not.
Mr. Green has not been intubated.
Good. Been intubated. Okay. And what about this one? Mrs. White quit smoke, and we've got a question here. Everyone together. Has
Mrs.
White
Been
smoking. White smoking.
Pronunciation, you guys.
smoking.
Pronunciation is quit. Quit.
Not been.
Been quiet.
Not been.
Okay.
Has Mrs. Jones quit
Been.
smoking? Yeah, well, can it be in the passive?
Yeah. Yes.
Can I say been?
Yes.
No.
No.
Has been, Mr. Smith.
Remember, we use the passive for what the nurse does and what the doctor does. Is this a nurse and doctor doing it?
No.
No, she is doing it.
No.
The patient is doing it. When the patient does it, we use the active voice. Okay, so patient actions. active voice, medical professionals, passive voice. Now, let's think about the meanings of these sentences. Let's take this one. Mrs. Jones has been diagnosed. Okay. What meaning is that here? Can anyone tell me? Is it finished or unfinished?
No.
Diagnosed, no.
Unfinished and recent action.
Finished
It's
action.
unfinished.
Finished but present.
It's finished action.
This action, is it finished or unfinished? The diagnosis.
Finished.
Finished and recent.
Finished.
Yeah.
So is it a recent action?
Yeah.
We cannot say because there is no
Recent
time frame for
result.
that. Has been
Result.
If it says just, if it says just
Result.
here,
it's recent action.
Yeah.
it would be recent. Experience, maybe no.
No.
Okay. Is it inside a time period?
No.
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 I could say,
Present
Present
result.
say
result.
this
Yes.
morning. Say this morning.
Yeah,
Right.
inside.
Yes.
Now it's kind of inside an unfinished time period. But really, this is the red one, isn't it? It's this one.
Yeah, this one, present result.
And what we're saying is that the diagnosis is
It's
important.
done. It's done now. Yeah.
It's important to the present moment. I could say Mrs. Jones was diagnosed. Right? What tense is that, guys?
Past.
Past simple.
Past passive simple.
So if I say that just
Passive
means
simple past.
that means it's a finished action.
Yeah.
Yes.
In a specific, usually for a specific time. Okay. If I say Mrs. Jones has been diagnosed, that's also finished action. Also, but with a present result. Does this make sense, guys?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you're really talking about now. You're trying to say there's something important for now. Okay. Isra, question. Go on.
Yes, hello. So I can't say Mr. John has been diagnosed with hypertension since 2014.
Yeah, you can't. Do you remember? Did you see the class yesterday? Right? You
Yes.
can't use since and for with this. Okay.
Yes.
And the reason is, look, so I'll put here no since and for. The reason is that diagnosis that's finished. That's a finished action. Okay. Oops.
Then in 2014.
You could say in 2014 she was diagnosed. Right?
Okay.
But how about this, Isra? You can say this. She has had, okay, cancer for 10 years. That one is okay. Why? Why is that one okay and this one is not okay?
It's unfinished.
Unfinished.
Unfinished, yes.
This verb of having, that's not finished. That's okay.
So this was my question, Alan. So we can write this sentence in background, right? Like she has had cancer for 10 years.
Yeah, but you didn't give me that example. You just said she has hypertension.
Yeah, but I forgot to mention about for
Guys,
instance.
this is not a small thing. You must use these words. If you don't use that word, it's not unfinished. Does that make sense? Usually, it's not unfinished.
Okay.
Mandela, let me give you an example, and then we'll finish the class. Look, I have lived in Manchester. Is it finished or unfinished?
Unfinished.
Finished.
It's finished.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
it is finished.
unfinished.
It's an experience. No, it's
No.
not.
No, it's finished.
Does not mention since for.
You can use since or for.
If I say for 10 years, now
This is still, yeah.
now it's unfinished. If I say since 1997, now it's unfinished. If I delete that, it's finished. Okay, so that's a key point. With conditions, you can say she has had, I don't know, anxiety for 10 years. That's okay, Mandira. That's totally okay. Right? But if I delete this, Mandira, does she have anxiety now?
No.
Yes.
No.
Doesn't. Okay.
Okay.
Does she have anxiety now if I write this?
Yes, she
Now
does.
she does. Okay. This is the key point with present perfect. Okay, thanks. Some really, really good questions today. Thank you so much, everyone, for your hard work. I'll see you all tomorrow, and we'll continue with present perfect, and we'll look at present perfect continuous as well. Okay.
Thank you so much, Alan.
Thanks everyone for your
Bye.
help.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Alan.
Thanks everyone. Bye guys. Bye bye. Take care.